Hello guys, I'm still in the kitchen. Now what we're about to prepare is some fresh collard greens, and I'm going to take you along the progress. My choice, but I love smoked turkey neck bones. So I purchased some smoked turkey neck bones, already cleaned them, and I'm going to put 2 pieces of smoked turkey neck bones in a pot. If you want turkey, you can use turkey. You can use any meat of your choice. But I like smoked turkey neck bones. That's what I'm using in my collard greens. So I put that in a pot. And what I'm going to do is add like 2 cups of water and with the smoked turkey neck bones. And what I like to do, guys, is let my and I have it on a medium heat. I like to let my turkey neck bones cook for like 30 minutes while I clean my greens. And we're just going to let it just simmer for like 30 minutes while we clean our greens. So to get started with our greens, I have an aluminum pan. You can put them in your sink if you like to, but I'm going to put mine in an aluminum pan. My sink is nice and clean. Then I'm going to clean my collard greens. And I'm going to show you how to clean your collard greens in 1 minute. But I'm going to let them soak. And when I soak my collard greens, I like to use some baking soda. And you clean your greens with the baking soda. And then I'm going to show you how to cut off the stems. Okay, so let me get started with the cleaning. For the cleaning process, you just take this little thing off here. And then you just put it in the pan or directly in your sink. And you just run water. And I have like 5 pounds of collard greens. So I'm just going to show you how to cut some of the stems off. I have like 5 pounds of collard greens. So you just put it like that. And then let me get the baking soda. Let's see here. Get your baking soda and you put that over your collard greens while you're cleaning them. And you just run your hands, just move them around and let that water and that baking soda get all over the collard greens. And take your time, guys, so you have to wash each and every leaf. So take your time and just work it with your hands. Make sure that baking soda is on every leaf. Then I will be back to show you how to cut your collard greens. But make sure the baking soda, guys, again, is on every leaf. Clean every one. And I let the water run as I'm cleaning them. Okay? I will be back to show you how to cut the stems off and how to add them to your pan. Okay, guys. I just want to show you how to cut off the stem because you don't want this big old stem in your greens. So again, after you take your time and clean your greens with water and salt or water and baking soda, I always use baking soda. You take like several leaves and you try to line them up, and they don't have to be all even, but try to line them up. Like that. And then you're going to try to fold it halfway and then cut the stem. Have your cutting board. Hopefully you can see that. Have your cutting board. And you just line them up. And you just cut the stem like this. And some people pull it off. You can pull it off. But take your time and cut your stem. No one wants stems in their greens. A little bit, but not a lot. Take the time and cut the stems off. And then have a trash bag nearby. Then just put them right in the trash bag. And then you take your time. And then you just see how they are now. Take your time and just roll up the greens. Take your time and roll them up. and then you just cut them. Make sure you have your cutting board, guys, and watch your fingers. See that? It doesn't matter what size they are, but when you cut them up, they're going to look like that. And then what I normally do is put mine together and then cut them again. Because I don't want big leaves in my greens. See that? About that size? Take your time and cut them up again. You don't want big leaves in your greens. And then I have another container. As I'm cutting them up, I'm putting them in here. And then that way I can put them all in a pot that's still in the stove with the smoked turkey neck bones in a pot. Right here. So I'm going to cut up some more. See the leaves? See the stem? All different sizes. They all been cleaned. There they go. Stem. But that's a big old stem right there. See that? Then sometimes it's easy if you do it one by one. Just cut the stem off. Make sure you have your bag. Get that stem out there, guys. And then you take your time and you just roll your greens up. Roll them up. Watch your fingers. And just cut your greens. Cut your greens. And I'm going to show you the seasoning I'm going to use. And we're going to start putting them in the pot. So again, after I cut mine once, I take my time and cut them another time. Another half. So I won't have big leaves. Collard greens. And if you see one that looks still kind of big, take your time and just cut it more. Put it like that. And let me just show you some of the seasoning we're going to use with the greens. You take your time, you open your pot, the steaming with your smoked turkey neck bones, and you just take your time and drop them in the pot. And I have about 5 pounds. I have more to cut, but what I'm going to use, guys, is some onions. I'm going to put some onions in my greens. Just a little bit. I'm going to put some more later. And I love using chicken broth. So I'm going to use 2 chicken broth. Earlier you saw me use some water, just like 2 cups of water, just for the smoked turkey neck bones. The rest of it is going to be chicken broth. All that seasoning in the greens is going to be delicious. And I have 2 chicken broths that I'm going to use on my collard greens instead of using water, a lot of water. And I purchased, and it's not going to taste like chicken, I purchased the unsalted chicken broth. Also, I'm only going to use 1 now. Once I put more greens in, then I will add more onions and more chicken broth. We're going to use some seasoned oil. Some adobo. Don't forget your Old Bay. Old Bay is good with your vegetables. A little Old Bay. And I'm just doing this halfway point. And then I'm going to add more greens in. And then I'm going to add more seasoning. And some black pepper. Then guys, I want to add a little minced garlic. Not a lot. It's just like a half a teaspoon. Let's do a little more than a teaspoon. Some garlic. Just for some extra seasoning. I'm not going to add any more garlic. That's enough garlic. Then what I want to add is some butter. Like 2 tablespoons of butter. Very important. The last ingredient I want to add is you need a pinch of sugar. We don't use a lot of sugar around here, so it's a little clunky. Just a little pinch of sugar, guys. Just for that added bonus. A pinch of sugar. So then we're going to put the top back on. And that's all the seasons we're going to use for now. I will be back. I'm going to finish cutting the greens. And stay tuned. I have a lot more to cut. You can see here. A lot more stems to cut off and a lot of greens to cut. A whole sink full. Nothing like fresh collard greens. Okay, guys, I'll be back when I add more to the pot. Okay, we're going to add more collard greens. So, like I said, don't forget collard greens will cook down. Nice, see the steam? We have more collard greens to add. And as I shared with you, I cut mine up nice and small because no one wants big leaves, you know, of collard greens. You just take your time and just add them to your pot very slowly. Okay. And they all will cook down. Y'all can see that? And the pot is almost full, guys, but they will cook down. I see a couple of big leaves. If you see a couple of big ones, you can just use your hand and just spread them apart. If you find 1 or 2 big leaves, you can use your hand and just look at that and just finish cutting them. Well, look, guys, this is almost full. And what I'm going to do, this is halfway point, and what I'm going to do is add more seasoning. But let me show you, my pot is full, but they all will cook down. So I'm going to add more seasoning since I'm halfway through cooking the loading the collard greens. And collard greens, guys, it takes about 3 hours to cook, depending on how tough they are. But after 2 hours, I will check them, but usually it takes about 3 hours. So I'm adding more seasoning. And then again, on a medium heat. I'm going to add a little bit more Old Bay, because I didn't add a lot last time. Because I knew once I finished loading them, I wanted to add more seasoning. More seasoned oil. A little more pepper. And don't forget, I like to use chicken broth. So I'm going to add my second whole container of chicken broth, because you do need your liquid. So I'm adding 2 in full containers. And this is 2 pounds. So I'm adding all this because it's going to cook for 3 hours. And you definitely don't want your collard greens to burn. Medium heat. And I still have more to add, guys, because I have about 5 pounds of collard greens. And that's a lot of collard greens. 5 pounds. And it looks delicious already. And they're going to take 3 hours to cook. And let me finish adding more onions. Okay. And don't forget the butter. Add a little more butter. So everything you added the first half of the pot, you're going to add the same ingredients, the same amount, the second half of the pot. That's how I do mine. Okay, put the lid back on and let them finish cooking. I have a little more greens to add, but I won't be adding any more seasoning. Okay, guys, you can do this. You can do this. Just take your time and clean your greens. Don't forget, use baking soda to clean your greens. Take your time and cut your greens. Cut your onions. Use butter and then your seasoning and let them cook for 3 hours. We got this. Ready?
Yep, we already recording.
Okay, guys. The collard greens are piping hot. And they have been cooking now for about... And look inside the pot, guys. Look at all this essence. And you see the smoked turkey neck bones. Let me show you. Look at that. Some of the turkey. Let me show you the smoked turkey neck bones. Remember I put 2 in here? This is some of the smoked turkey neck bones. Let me just show you how good the collard greens look. It's been like, look how nice and light they are. It's been like an hour and a half. Hour and a half. I'm sorry, guys. It's been 2 hours and a half. So let me just taste the collard greens. They should be done. You see the onions. Let's plate it a little bit. Okay. Woo. And I'm going to turn it down to below medium and let it cook for another 10 minutes. So let me taste it first because I may be turning it off right this minute. Woo. As you can see, piping hot. You see the steam? Grateful. Grateful, grateful, grateful. And today is Thanksgiving. So my family going to have some nice hot collard greens. Don't forget, guys, with your collard greens, clean them good. And your meat, any meat of your choosing. They are delicious. I'm going to let them cook for another 15-30 minutes because it's only been 2.5 hours. And I always like cooking my greens for at least 30 minutes. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to like, share, turn on your notification bell. Okay, guys. Delicious. I'm going to let them cook for another 30 minutes because it's only been 2.5 hours, but it's delicious. Don't forget to like, share, turn your notification button, and subscribe.